If we talk about risks and challenges, Hugh, what keeps you awake at night about this acquisition? Hello, I'm Peter Assinder. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for DYWIDAG, and I'm here today with our Group CEO, Hugh Pelham, to talk about our latest acquisition of Interspan.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Hi, Hugh. I have a list of questions here. My first question is around strategy and rationale. And what was the primary strategic reason for making this acquisition?
Interspan essentially fills some service gaps we have in the UK and in Australia. In those two countries, we don't provide post-tensioning services and we don't provide repair and strengthening of specialist repair and strengthening of concrete structures. So Interspan completes our service provision on a global basis.
And how does this acquisition support your long-term growth strategy here?
We see good opportunities to grow in the UK and in Australia, and also worldwide. I see considerable opportunities to grow in repair and strengthening. And Interspan's technology in terms of inspecting concrete structures and then carrying out specialist repairs of carbon fibre materials or specialist crack injection should enable us to accelerate the development of our repair and strengthening business globally.
What were the key factors that convinced you that this was the right target?
Interspan is a company that DYWIDAG has been tracking since 2018. So we've known the management for a long time. We've seen their business plans and their performance. And as a group, it's had a great track record of hitting the targets it set itself over the years. We have worked together on some projects. So the company is well known to DYWIDAG and very good business, very profitable, very good customer service. When we did a survey of its customers, very positive feedback. Management's been known to us for a considerable period of time. So all of those things gave me great confidence that the combination of Interspan and DYWIDAG would be a great one.
Moving on to around financial and value creation, what revenue growth opportunities have you identified?
The revenue growth opportunities in post-tensioning in the UK, in repair and strengthening. So there's some bids in the offshore wind sector. We'll be in a much better position to win as a result of owning Interspan. There's a lot of revenue growth opportunities in Australia and in America, in the repair and strengthening market in particular. So I see a lot of opportunity to grow in R&S and in PT, in infrastructure, in the UK and Australia. There's a huge opportunity with Network Rail in the UK. In just one region, Network Rail has 300 post-tension bridges, which are in need of repair, or they might even consider replacing the bridges. But we would be very well positioned with Interspan to assist them in maintaining and renovating their property portfolio.
Moving on a bit onto integration planning, which parts of the acquired company will remain independent?
The short answer is that Interspan will become integrated into DYWIDAG, and whether it's in Australia or the UK or Belgium and the Netherlands, we will have one leader in charge of the DYWIDAG and the Interspan business. So it will no longer be an independent business. You'll see that we'll retain some of the branding for a period of time, because in Australia and in particular, Interspan has got a very strong brand in post-tensioning and in repair and strengthening. They have the SlabTech brand, which is also very strong. So that those will be retained for a period of time, but operationally, in terms of leadership, in the next 12 months, we will have one leader in each country of the two businesses, and they will be combined together.
You've been in business quite a while now, Hugh, and what lessons have you learned from previous acquisitions that you will be applying here?
I think one lesson is to be very clear about what the end destination is. So from the start, whilst we might have two different companies, the objective is to have one, to have more sales, to have one leader, better safety culture. And for me, it's about being clear what the end destination is, exactly how we get there, and the time frame. That may be a matter for further thought and discussion, but I think it's very important to be clear about what the end destination is and what we're trying to achieve. And very simply, we've got two good companies which we want to, and we want to create a great company, one business, and be the best at what we do. That's the end objective, and we need to plot a way to get there.
Yeah, thanks, Hugh. And moving on to sort of the people and culture side of the business, how compatible are the cultures of the two organisations?
I see the two cultures as very compatible. Both companies, I think, have the same values, whether it be integrity and trust, straightforward manner of doing business, a focus on technical excellence and design, innovation, capability. Interspan's an entrepreneurial company, but DYWIDAG is too. We have a number of very entrepreneurial people within the business, and very successful people. So I see the two cultures actually as quite aligned. And that's also one of the reasons why it was an attractive acquisition.
How will you maintain engagement during the integration period?
I think that's a matter of communication, setting the right goals, supporting people during the integration period, dealing with any issues quickly, and also things like, if you take the incentive frameworks we've got for people within the business, whether it be at a hourly worker paid level or a senior executive level, making sure that those are in place for the right people. So I think there's a combination of incentives, dealing with issues, clear communications, and again, being clear about where do we want to be. And I'll come back to this goal of wanting to be the best at what we do.
Looking at some of these sort of external focus around our customers and markets, which customer segments do you think offer the greatest cross-selling opportunities?
I think there's a huge cross-selling opportunity in repair and strengthening, whether it be in the US or indeed in countries such as Italy, which has actually a very large market in terms of carbon fibre panel repairs to concrete. In the UK, Germany, so repair and strengthening is definitely one area where we should be able to cross-sell. Interspan has a lot of expertise in providing post-tensioning solutions to high-rise buildings, and indeed designs the post-tensioning solution. So I can see that expertise could be applied in various different countries. So there's a lot of different opportunities. Another example would be in the UK, we have Network Rail as a customer. We currently provide monitoring and some geotechnical products, but we could, with Interspan on board, provide post-tensioning services, repair and strengthening services. So the opportunity there is very good.
Thanks. Yeah, we may have covered this to a degree, but how will the acquisition strengthen the overall competitive position of DYWIDAG, do you think?
I think it strengthens us because we can provide a full service in every country. It strengthens our ability in terms of design and also specialist services, in particular concrete repair. It also strengthens us just simply in terms of scale. So in some countries, for instance, Belgium or Netherlands, we haven't had sufficient business scale to be as successful as I would like us to be. By combining with Interspan, we have that. So what that creates is a much stronger, more viable business in countries where we've got a small presence. And that will help us to be much more successful in those two countries in particular.
And how do you think the combined companies will differentiate ourselves from our competition?
I think it comes back to what we've always said that should or does differentiate DYWIDAG. One piece of that is about engineering expertise, and with Interspan, that's increased. There's 65 excellent design engineers in Vietnam, by way of example. So our ability to design things and come up with design solutions is enhanced through Interspan. In terms of approvals for different anchorage systems or approvals or ETAs in different markets, that's also expanded. Supplier relationships, that's also strengthened by this acquisition. So there's a number of different aspects around resources, engineering, approvals, and just scale, which strengthens the company considerably.
If we look at products and technologies between both companies, how complementary do you think both product portfolios are?
There's overlap, but equally there's some products which Interspan has which we don't. So it's very complementary, and in that sense it does mean we've got a full portfolio to offer our customers in all the main markets we operate in. So by way of example, Interspan has a number of products for repairing and concrete structures. They also have equipment to survey a concrete structure and establish where the reinforcement is and the condition of the concrete. All of that really strengthens our offering, whether it be in the US, Europe, UK, throughout the world.
Moving on to operations and execution, what operational efficiencies do you expect to gain with this acquisition?
I think we'll have some operational efficiencies around field operatives. So, for instance, Interspan have work with Nordex in Germany carrying out repairs to wind towers. We have a large workforce installing post-tensioning in wind towers for Nordex and Vaxbügel. And our combined labour force means we're and combined workload means we're in a much better position to have continuity of work for our labour force, which makes it more efficient. And it also means our buying power is stronger, which should give us some advantages in terms of how we purchase certain materials. And in terms of equipment, we'll have higher utilization. So there's a few operational efficiencies to do with labour, to do with buying, and to do with equipment, which we should realise.
If we talk about risks and challenges, Hugh, what keeps you awake at night about this acquisition?
Safety always keeps me awake at night. DYWIDAG has greatly improved its safety performance. This is an area which I think Interspan could improve in. There's certain aspects where Interspan, I think, is better than DYWIDAG. Just in terms of some efficiency of its operations is better. But objectively, DYWIDAG's safety track record at the moment is better than Interspan's. So I want to get Interspan as part of DYWIDAG to be in the same place or better. In fact, I want both companies to be better in terms of health and safety and performance. So health and safety always keeps me awake at night. And the other thing, quite simply, is making sure we continue to please our key customers, and that in this process we don't lose any core customers either for DYWIDAG or for Interspan. And lastly, I always worry about retaining good people. I think actually in the last few years, DYWIDAG has got much better at recruiting and retaining good people. Our surveys certainly show that. And in any acquisition or combination of companies, it's really important that the good people in both companies stay, work together, operate. So that's always a concern and a risk. But in this case, I think the early signs are very good. Even before the acquisition completed, different senior people in both companies were talking to each other, and there was a strong willingness, desire to work together to get a better result for both businesses. So I'm greatly encouraged by that.
So looking back 3 years from now, what would define this acquisition as a success for you here?
I think one aspect simply is revenues and customer satisfaction. If our revenues have grown, our customer satisfaction ratings are up. That is one element. Clearly, there's a financial element. We're in business to make a profit and to grow our profits over time. So myself and the board have a number of financial targets for this acquisition. And I believe actually by putting Interspan and DYWIDAG together, we will create what is the most profitable business globally in post-tensioning and geotechnical products. So that is one thing I would look back at to say, service-wise is best safety track record, and actually in terms of financial performance, is it the most profitable? And I think all of those three things we can achieve.
Thanks, Hugh. Thanks for your chat today and covering the recent acquisition of Interspan. Do you have any final comments you'd like to make?
I think, for me, this acquisition is about having two good companies, putting them together and creating a truly great company that is the best globally at what it does. And I think with the people we have, the businesses we have, we can do that. And that's, for me, a very exciting thing. I think we have a great opportunity just to create a really great business.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thank you. Good to see you.